Hello there, my name is Paul Guilmette. I'm a local artist living in Port Charlotte, and I've been doing this since 2014. And I got started at the Visual Art Center. I have a bunch of art displays in their parking lot, and give me some questions. Okay. I came to Port Charlotte because I thought it was a kind of a country type atmosphere. It wasn't like Miami or Fort Lauderdale, or it was kind of laid back, and it was one of the charms that that attracted us here. Yeah, well, I started off building a mermaid, and one of our friends said, too bad you couldn't get the tail to move. So lo and behold, I made the tail move, and since then we've done a bunch of other stuff. We got mermaids, sharks chasing scuba divers, and we've got scuba divers chasing mermaids, and we got bugs that we make out of all copper and brass. It should last for quite a while. They're designed so they can either stick in the ground or being on a table. As far as I've won the International Whirligig Festival 2 years in a row up in Nova Scotia, being the best wind vane, and I've got a following from all over. I've shipped stuff to New Zealand and around the world, and I find it quite comforting. Before I was doing hazardous waste remediation, and I retired here and decided I didn't want to build birdhouses, so I got into doing something a little bit more creative, I thought. Well, we live on a canal, and there's a lot of wind, and we thought it'd be... When I was a young kid, probably 40 years ago, I was paddling around a lake in a canoe, and I saw somebody that had something similar. And I said to myself, when I retire, I'm going to build one of these. And there it is. That's what came out. I've been part of the arts community. I do a lot of shows. I do all the shows that we can, but through the coronavirus, that we're kind of limited, and there's only 2 shows this year. And so we have, my studio is kind of full with bugs and wind vanes and stuff like that. Well, from what we get for it in Port Charlotte, if we were in Texas or in California, there would be about 4 times the value. We're in, this is a hobby. I don't pretend to get rich on it. Sometimes you're lucky if you make $5 to $7 an hour building this stuff, but it's quite fun. They keep me busy. A lot of people, they take my card and they'll call me a year later and says, I finally decided I want that one piece. Can you make one for me, or do you have one? And I sell it to them. But yeah, it's good. You don't get rich in the art community. Right. We're among all the starving artists. Port Charlotte is a wonderful place to exist, and I've been recommending it to all my friends, and so far we've got, I think, 5 different couples that moved down to this area because they come in, they visit for a week, and then they says, okay, this is it. They've been to Miami, they've been to Orlando, and there's nothing like the Port Charlotte. Well, I have a website. Okay. It's Innovations in Art with 1 N. And if it doesn't come up immediately, put my name after it, Paul Guilmette, and it will appear. And I have a whole website. People can contact me and order stuff and communicate with everybody. So this is the scuba diver being chased by the shark. The tail's moving, the mouth is opening, the scuba diver's going for his life, and it's all the mechanism and everything else. And once you get the mechanism working, you can actually do a scuba diver, and you can see where that drive plate moves and the legs on the scuba diver move. This is my most recent one that I created. And then on the other side, I have a mermaid and a scuba diver, and I call this the man in the myth, where the scuba diver is chasing a mermaid, and it's all wind driven.
So if we were outside, the sails would be moving the boats, which would then move everything else?
Right, everything moves. Yeah, then at the airplane, when the wind blows, the propeller spins, and it turns into the wind.
Oh, okay.
But I've had one of these up. I sold one a couple years ago to a lady up in, she was down here visiting, and she brought it home to her grandfather in Michigan, who was an invalid. And they put it out in front where you could sit and watch it. And she came up to me 2 years later and says, "You know that airplane wind vane you sold me?" And I kind of said, "Yeah, well, you sell a lot of them." I didn't really recognize her. And she says, my grandfather's still watching it and it's still working. I said, "Wow, that's pretty good." So, and this one here it's actually my stand that I use to assemble stuff. So I have to hold it in order to make everything function. And then we have piling mounts, roof mounts, and then poles that go right into the ground so people can put it in their garden or whatever. And I'd like to thank the library for the opportunity to showcase some of my stuff.
We want to thank you for coming in and talking about your art and your experience here in Charlotte County.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.